Hello everyone, myself Dr. Jyoti Gangode, Assistant Professor of Zoology, KTHM College, Nashik. Students, today we are going to again continue the previous topic of excretory system. Okay, so here we are continuing the topic excretory system. In that, today I am going to discuss regarding the rectum. Okay, now here, see here, the rectum, which is again the part of excretory system or the organ of excretion. Okay, so the rectum, where the epithelial cells, they form the rectal pads or either rectal papillae. Okay, such a rectal pads or papillae, they collectively form a cryptonephric complex or chloride epithelia. Okay, now here such a rectal pads. Okay, first we can focus on the rectal pads. Now here, Swammerdam in 1669 first discovered the rectal pads in the rectum of insect, whereas the Wigglesworth in 1932, which is found the reabsorption of water from the rectal contains by these structures. Okay, so first, okay, Swammerdam which discovered the rectal pad, whereas later on such a rectal pads, okay, they reabsorb the water, okay, they reabsorb the water from the rectal pad, which is discovered by the Wigglesworth in 1932. Okay, now here in case of primitive insect, the rectal wall, which is composed of a single layer of flat epithelial cell in case of Collembola, whereas in case of Hemiptera, the epithelial cells which become thickened at a small region of rectum, while in some bugs, okay, the iliac epithelial walls which differentiate into a pad which consists of columnar cell. Okay, now here the modification of rectal pads in different group of insect. In case of primitive insect, the rectal wall, which is composed of a single layer of flat epithelial cell, whereas in case of Hemiptera, the epithelial cells which become thickened at a small region of the rectum, whereas in case of some bugs, okay, the iliac epithelial wall which differentiates into a pad of columnar cells. Now, in case of Dictyoptera and Orthoptera, the rectal epithelium which is differentiated into symmetrically arranged 6 rectal pads. Okay, whereas in case of Hymenoptera and Lepidoptera, the rectum which bears a large number of small and spherical epithelial pads. Okay, now here, maybe here the spelling mistake. Okay, now in case of Periplaneta, each pad which consists of an internal layer of cuticle, then middle layer of flattened columnar epithelial cell, whereas the outer layer which is of musculature or the muscles. Okay, now if we can discuss the rectal pads of cockroach. Okay, so what it is shows here, the internal layer of cuticle, middle layer of flattened columnar epithelial cell, whereas the outer layer which surrounds the muscles, that is longitudinal as well as circular muscles. Now here the muscles and epithelial layers are separated and forming a narrow subepithelial sinus. Now the epithelial cells are themselves separated from each other and gives rise to narrow intercellular channels of about 200 angstrom degree diameter. Okay, this is what regarding the Periplaneta. Now, the intercellular channels, they are separated from the rectum lumen as well as, okay, you can focus in this diagram, so you can clear the thing. So, here the cellular channel separated from the rectal lumen as well as from the subepithelial sinus by the desmosomal connection or by means of septa. Okay, now here you can see this is the musculature or the muscular layer. Here you can see forming the sinus. Then you can see this. Here you can see the septate desmosome which connects the cells. Now here this is the identified basal plasma membrane. Here intercellular channel. Okay, that what I going to discuss. Cellular channel or here intercellular space. Here this is the rectal pad cell and here you can see again the septate desmosome. Okay, and this is the cuticle. Okay, here the entry of water, okay, into the lumen along with the ions. Now here the intercellular channels, they often communicate with a large intercellular spaces of 10 to 13 micrometer in diameter. Now the intercellular spaces, they are formed due to distal dilation of plasma membrane infoldings. Okay, now here the intercellular spaces, they are formed from the dilations of the plasma membrane or such a plasma membrane, they shows the infoldings. Now the tracheae, they penetrate into the entire width of the rectal pad and they extend the fine tracheoles into the intercellular spaces. Now the columnar epithelial cells, they contain large number of mitochondria. Mostly such a mitochondria, they arranged in the lateral and apical plasma membrane infoldings, they facing the cuticle layer. Okay, now this is what here the uptake of, this is the diagram which depicts, okay, the uptake of water along with the ions, okay, inside such a cell. Now after that we can focus on the rectal papillae. Okay, now rectal pads and rectal papillae, okay, these are the parts of rectum. We can discuss here the rectal papillae of Calliphora erythrocephalus. Now here the rectal papillae of adult blowfly. Okay, the adult blowfly Calliphora erythrocephalus, which has been extensively studied by Gupta and Berich in 1966, and which or they shows that they conclude that they observe that here each papilla which is composed of cortex and medulla. Okay, so each papilla which is composed of cortex as well as medulla. You can also see in this diagram cortex as well as medulla. This is the medulla region. Okay, this is the medulla. Here you can see this is the cuticle. This is apical membrane. Then here you can see the intercellular space. This is again here the lateral membrane. This is the basal membrane. Here the hemolymph is there, or here a wall which is present to allow or close the entry of hemolymph. Okay, or this is the infundibular space, or here you can see this is the medulla. Now here in case of Calliphora erythrocephalus, or it is a blowfly, okay, which shows the water and salt movement within the rectal papillae. Okay, you know the papillae, the structure of papillae or such a papillae, okay, which is elongated, which shows the finger-like projection, okay, as compared to the rectal pads. Now here the cortical region, which is formed from a single layer of columnar epithelial cell, while the medullary region, which is composed of connective tissue. Now the papilla is externally covered with a thin layer or the cuticle which facing the lumen. Okay, which facing the lumen. Now the epithelial cells, they form the intercellular spaces. Okay, the epithelial cells, they form the intercellular spaces or the sinuses. Both form a continuous channel system which opens into the infundibular. Okay, here you can see the infundibular space. Okay, cortex or medulla. Okay, which collectively form a system or a space, that is infundibular space. Now the infundibular spaces, they occurs in between the cortical region and medullary region. Here the infundibular spaces, they open into the hemosole through a semilunar wall. Okay, here you can see this is the medullary region, this is the cortex region, or here what it is, the uptake of such ions or uptake of different minerals, okay, along with the water, or which shows the movement of such solutes inside the hemolymph. Okay, now here the medulla and cortex, here which pass its hemolymph through a semilunar wall. Here you can see at this point the wall is present, or such a wall which is nothing but the semilunar wall. Now such a wall which prevents the backflow of hemolymph, which prevent the backflow of the hemolymph. Now the papillae, they are supplied with a fine nerves, then neurosecretory cells as well as tracheates. Now the tracheoles, they penetrate into the intercellular spaces. Okay. Now this is what here the movement of such a solute particles within the rectal papillae. Okay, within the rectal papillae at medullary or cortex region and along with the space, that is infundibular space, towards the wall or such a semilunar wall which prevent the excess backflow of such a hemolymph. Okay, so this is a single structure of rectal papillae and which shows the movement of such a solute, such a ions or whatever the salts, okay, different substances through the rectal papillae. Now this is regarding the rectal papillae. Now we can focus on again the cryptonephric complex. Now here the cryptonephric complex, here Saini in 1964 and Grimstone et al. In the year 1968. They describe the histological and ultrastructure of the cryptonephric complex in case of Tenebrio. Okay, Tenebrio molitor, it is an insect, Tenebrio. So here the terminal ends of the Malpighian tubules. Okay, here you can again focus on the diagram of cryptonephric complex. Now here this is the cryptonephric complex of the Tenebrio larva, and here this is the longitudinal section. Okay, this is the longitudinal section and this is the cross section. Okay, now here the terminal ends of the Malpighian tubules, they are enclosed within the perinephric space. Here the perinephric space which lies between an outer double layer perinephric membrane. Okay, here you can see first the parts of such a system. Here the perirectal Malpighian tubule. Okay, these are the Malpighian tubule, and here the perinephric space is there. And here you can see this is the rectum. This is the part of hindgut, or this is the which is nothing but the rectum. Rectum which is provided with the flattened epithelial cells. Those cells, they are resting on a pore or the basement membrane and which open into a opening, that is anus. Okay, so this is the longitudinal section of rectum, okay, which shows the Malpighian tubules, okay, from both sides, and which form a perinephric space, and inside which shows a some sort of substance or some sort of material in the rectal region, and this is the hemolymph, okay. Now again this is the transverse section of the same organ which showing the lumen. Here you can see these are the, first you can see the outer layer which is the outer sheath, okay. Now here you can see the epithelial cells, they are the flattened cells, and the inner one which is the cuticular layer, okay. Now here you can see these are the longitudinal muscle followed by circular muscle here, and here short region here which shows the subepithelial spaces. Now these large cells, they are nothing but the leptophragma, okay. Leptophragma, they get connected. Here you can see again which forming a space, that is perirectal space, and here they get connected by intertubular cells, okay. Now this is what the cross section of the same, that is the rectum or the Malpighian tubules. Now here the terminal ends of the Malpighian tubules, they are associated or they are closed within the perinephric space. The perinephric space which lies between an outer double layer perinephric membrane and an inner rectal peritoneal membrane, okay. Now the inner perinephric layer which is interrupted by a group of specialized cells, okay, here which is interrupted by a group of specialized cells, and such as cells, they are nothing but the leptophragma cells or leptophragmata cells. Now here such a leptophragmata which consist of a thin wall between the hemosole and interior of enclosed ends of Malpighian tubules. Now here the rectal wall which bears two types of spaces, each 6 in number, right. Here two type of spaces are there, subepithelial spaces here, or again here the perinephric spaces. Now each spaces, they are 6 in number. Now the outer spaces, they are lying in between the cryptonephric complex and the rectal circular muscle layer, and they are known as the perirectal spaces. Now similarly the inner spaces, they are occurring in between the rectal circular muscle layer and the rectal epithelium, and that's why they are known as the subepithelial spaces, okay. Now the perirectal spaces are separated from one another by longitudinal muscle bands, and here the cryptonephric complexes, they are also separated from each other by intertubular cells. Here this arrangement which accelerate the water conservation by adding the absorptive capacity of tubules so that, okay, so that the rectal of the rectal epithelium. Now the tubules on the other hand which collect the ions from hemolymph, okay. So now this way such a tubules, okay, they collect the ions from hemolymph, okay. Now this is what regarding the cryptonephric complex, okay. Now here the intake of iron, okay, intake of iron from the rectal epithelium, okay, from the rectal epithelium by such a tubules, okay, by such a structures. Now after that rectal chloride epithelium. Now here In case of Odonata or the larvae of Odonata, the basal pads of gill lamellae, they are modified into the excretory or osmoregulatory epithelia, and they are commonly referred as the rectal chloride epithelia. Now, the structures, they absorb sodium and chloride ions from exogenous water which entering through the anus and transport to the hemoly. Okay. Now, the functions as what it is? Such a structure, that is rectal chloride epithelia in case of Odonata larvae, which absorbs sodium and chloride ions from exogenous water, which such a water which entering through the anus and transfer to the hemoly. Okay. This is what regarding the Odonata larvae of the rectal chloride epithelium. Okay, now after that we can focus on the next part, that is accessory organs of excretion. Now here the organs such as nephrocyte, then oinocytes, labial glands, urate cells, chloride cells, anal cells as well as anal organs. These are the accessory organs of excretion. Okay, now here if we can discuss regarding the first organ, nephrocyte. Here the nephrocytes, they form from two major groups, that is dorsal group of pericardial nephrocyte and the ventral group of infraintestinal nephrocyte. Okay, now here the dorsal nephrocytes, they are arranged into a chain, into a long chain on either lateral side of the heart in pericardial sinus. Okay, now you can focus on the diagram also. Here what it is, the dorsal nephrocyte. Okay, the dorsal nephrocytes, they are arranged into a long chain. Okay, such a nephrocytes, they arranged into a long chain lateral side of the heart, lateral side of the heart in pericardial sinus. These groups occurs in most of the insect. Okay, now such a group, okay, dorsal group, they are found almost in all insect now, whereas in case of the ventral nephrocyte, which form a pair of chain which run along the ventral surface of intestine and finally they are attached to the salivary glands. Okay, now here you can see such a ventral nephrocytes, okay, they attach to the salivary glands. Now the ventral nephrocytes, they occur only in dipteran larvae. Here they have particulars. Okay, such a dorsal groups are, they are nothing but the pericardial nephrocytes. They are found almost all insect, whereas the ventral groups are, they are also known as the infraintestinal nephrocytes, and they are particularly found in the dipteran larvae. Now the second type of organ of excretion is the oinocyte. Okay, now here the oinocyte, they are giant hemosolic cells which may form loose aggregation of, which is found in the form of loose aggregation or which may be in the form of scattered in present in the body cavity. Now they play an important role in the formation of cuticulin layer during a process of molting, whereas they also known to be secrete a hormone ecdysone or an ecdysone in some insect, and they predominantly, such as cells predominantly occur in the honey bee larvae as well as in the honey bee pupae. Okay, now again such a oinocytes, they are ectodermal in their origin. Okay, now here such a oinocytes, they undergo a cyclical changes during the post embryonic development in some insect. Okay, now such a cells, they undergo a cyclical change during the post embryonic development in some insect. Okay, now after that, the labial glands. Okay, now the labial glands, oinocyte